In this session, we are going to go through a sample question of creating a Boolean method. This Boolean method is called isPrime method. A prime number, here's the explanation. This is a number that is evenly divisible only by itself and 1. Right? Now, you are required to write a program, a method called isPrime, which takes an integer as an argument and returns true if the argument is the prime number. So we can clearly see the definition of isPrime is isPrime with an integer num, right? And then it should return true if, okay, let's put isPrime is divisible, evenly divisible by, that's only by 1 and itself. Now let's say if it's divisible by anything other than 1 and itself. And here anything is, of course, any integer that is other than 1 and itself. And this integer apparently has to be something lower than the number itself, which means it will be between 2 and itself and itself minus 1, right? Then it's false. Else return true. So divisible by integer means there's no remainder. The remainder is 0, right? So for number 1, percent, number 2, the percent operator will return 0 if num is evenly divisible by number 2. So what we are going to do is going through 2 to, here is a number minus 1. And we keep on doing this percent operation. If percent operation returns 0, then it's divisible. Then we will return false. Else, in the end, we will return true. And we also mentioned that so here we should start with for integer between 2 and the num equals to 1, if num percent integer, or let's say I, equals to 0, then that's evenly divisible, then return false. Else, and this is if after this loop, all the integers between 2 and num minus 1 has been tested, then that means this number is a prime, so we will return true. Anytime there is a number that's divisible, that the num is divisible by that number, then we will return false, right? Then we will have a main method in trying this isPrime. Prime number list, once you have this isPrime method, write a program that will store a list of prime numbers in the file. So let's start by creating a new, I think, is it assignment 4? Yes, let's create a new class called assign meant for prime is prime. And public static void main string array args and Java doc comments. I'm going to copy this here. And in main method, we should call system.out.println. Let's say we try 7 is prime number. And we are going to give is prime 7. And we can do this for some other, like is 8 a prime number. And how about 97? Okay, now let's start writing is prime, and it will return a boolean with an integer num. And here we will need to add Java doc returns true if num is a prime. False. False if number is not a prime. Okay, now let's copy this pseudocode. And so it will be for I between 2, means starting with 2. Integer I equals 2, that's the initialization. And I less than or equals to num, and that's 1 and I plus plus. And here, as you can see, there's only one statement. So you can use the one statement, but we decide to add a square curly brace anyway for readability and for maintenance. Similarly, we will do this for the for if statement. Okay, now let's run. Oops, there's an error. Cancel. And what's the error? Oh, I forgot to type in public static. I made a mistake here. Now it worked. So 7 is a prime number, 8 is not, and the 97 is a prime number. Now, the next thing we want to do is write this to go through the first 100 integers, 1 to 100, and go through this is prime. So we are going to create a assignment for is prime 1 to 100. And of course, we're going to create. Remember, we have this file write and read, and something right here. I think file read write, and we are going to copy most of the code here. Right? You may say why we are doing this input file. We don't need input file this time. We only need output. So we are going to copy the output file code. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to create the public static void main as well as the Java doc. Args. And I'm going to add Java doc. The name, the question description is like this. And I'm going to copy the is prime file. And you can see this part of a code reuse. As soon as you have this is prime, you can copy it everywhere. Then you can adjust your main method to make the best use of it. And now we're going to copy this file writing. Oops, here. We'll generate the output file. Oh, we need to generate the keyboard first. So we get a keyboard, get the file name from keyboard, and we're going to introduce the print write. And why do we have this issue? There's an unhandled exception, which means we also need to copy this over here. But then now there's another issue that you need to, oh, it's already created. Eclipse automatically add these two exceptions for us. So we have the output file open, and we will do a for I enter I equals to 1 to I less than or equal to 100 and I plus plus. This is for every statement, every number from 1 through 100. We are going to output file print line and of course here we are not outputting this. Instead we will print out I plus is a prime number and plus is prime I. Now, of course, you can have a if-else statement here. If is prime I. That's you do this way. So if, then it is a prime. Let's output is a prime number. Otherwise, else, I'm going to copy this here, is not a prime number. All right, and once you finish the logic processing, output everything into the file, you need to close it. So let's save this and run. And enter the output file name. Let's call it output.txt. And now it's done. And where is this? Because I only have output. This is relative path. So it should be under the working folder. And the working folder should be the Eclipse workspace plus the project name. So it will be let me type this in somewhere else. It should be in this folder. The Eclipse workspace plus the my project name. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is not a prime number, 6 is not until 97, and 99, and 100. All right. So this is the is prime method.